Hello guys, let's take a look today at this new product. I will just call it a weapon because I cannot pronounce the name correctly. I think it's better just to call it a weapon. We have here the prop, the weapon itself. We have the flame. The flame is animated. We have 77 frames of VDB files animated. You can trigger, start the flame at any frame. You can set multiple triggers in the same sequence. You can see here it has starts at certain points, and that's it. Let's take a look. Now, talking a little bit about installation and content, you have two zip files. One of them is just a template for the textures of the prop, and the main thing is this one here. In your runtime, and inside you have the VDB files of the flame. And another thing you need to install is that you need the default resources for Daz Studio. Okay, now let's see inside Daz Studio the smart prop versions and the flame. If you want to just load in the scene, you can just add this one here, and you can, for example, if you remember to select the prop, you can attach the flame. Okay, this is a smart prop. You can see it is now a child of the prop, and you can see here nothing is showing because by default it uses the last frame of the sequence. But I will change it. Now you can see. Let's change the render set. I'm using 2 seconds max, and I'm using one here. Let's reduce something like this. Okay, now you can see how it looks. The full array settings with max time 2 seconds. And once you have like this, you can select, for example, if you select the prop, you can rotate, you can change position. You can see it follows. But if you use the Genesis 8 female, there's another way. Let's remove this. You can use the smart prop version. So you select the Genesis 8 female, choose left or right hand. Okay, let's use the left hand. So I double click here. So if I, for example, if I move the arm, you can see the prop follows. And now I can click the flame, and you can see here the flame, it is attached to the weapon. Okay, and if I change the VDB file here, I can choose a specific. Now let's take a look at the pose preset. You have here in the poses folder, you have the left and right version of, for example, select the Genesis 8 in the scene. You can click, and in this case this is the left version of the prop. I can just select it. Let's see, this is the prop gun. With this selected, I have the smart version of the flame. There is a cube attached to the end of the prop gun. Now I have the flame selected. Surfaces volume. This is if I want to choose a specific VDB. Okay, you can do it like this, and you can change position if you move the figure. If you change the, for example, if you move the arms, it will follow. And let me explain the hand pose. Let's say I have the figure in the default position. Default position, the hand is not holding the prop. You can use one of the poses. This is the hand pose. This is just the hand. If you will grasp the prop. Okay, there is a morph for the trigger. There's this trigger morph too. This is optional. It depends on what you are doing, but it is here if you need. Okay, now let's take a look at the material presets. Let's use the full body left. I load the left version of the smart prop, and I select the prop and apply the flame. You can see nothing appears here, but there's a cube volume container. If I click and select, I can go to the array materials for the flame. The prop gun has just a default in case you change it and you want to use, but the flame has other versions. So for example, if I apply the default, you can see here in the volume. You can choose other ones here. You have the styles. This one here, number 2, is the one I used in the promo image, and there's this one here. So you can choose different which VDB file it is using. This is how it works. You can place your figure in any place and it will follow. Okay, now let's take a look how it behaves when rendering a still frame. I'm using the default array settings and I will send it to the desktop, and I'm using dimensions 960 540, okay, and click render. This is rendering in real time, so you can see how it behaves. Let's see the result. This is the result. You can see it is pretty fast because the VDB file it is small. We don't have too much definition here in the flame. This is more focused on animation, just because it is light. Okay, it's a light version which is fast to render. Okay, now let's take a look at the animation. For animation, 24 seconds frames per second. This is the original frame rate of the simulations. When I made the flame animation, I used 24 frames per second. So this, the way it works, the first thing, you need to select the flame and you go to the parameters, the script. There is a trigger option here. This is what we use for the animation. You will see settings for this is just an example, so I will use the max time of 1 second. Let's do an example here. 5 frames. Okay, I will choose 5 frames because I will do a test run first. Let's go to the, so you can see I have a flame loaded but the trigger is off. Let's take a look what it happens when we choose to render. Okay, you don't need to select the flame, but you can, for example, choose here with anything selected in the scene. Let's remove. You can just choose still frame in render settings and choose a start frame and render. Okay, remember to save your scene. Remember to save your scene before running the script. Follow the instructions here. You are ready to render. You can just click. Some people like to use like this. You can drag and drop here, and this way it is good because you will have some log information here. You can see, for example, I'm using 5 frames. Let's click execute. You just click yes. You choose if you want padding or not. You use yeah. So you can see here we have some log information, and you will see, as I did not use the trigger, everything is using the same VDB file, which is the last one. The result you can see here. So the results will be written to a render folder in the same place you have saved the scene. Okay, so you can see here nothing animates because we did not trigger. Now let's see how it works if we trigger the flame. Okay, let's choose 0. Let's select the flame. Select the flame. With the flame selected, I will click on frame 0 and off on frame 1. This is important because otherwise it will keep restarting. Okay, so just select on and off. Now all the frames afterwards will be off. Let's see how it looks. So I just click the script. Yes, yes. Now let's see the result. you can see now we have animation. So it started a sequence of animation. Okay, let me show you what happens if you start but you change later. For example, let me do another trigger at frame 3. Okay, let's trigger, then turn it off. So I triggered on 3, it turned it off on 4. Let's render again, see how it looks. Let's see the result. Oh, you can see now that on frame 3 it has started. You can see, and this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Frame 3 restarts. This is the way the trigger works. Okay, you can have more than one in the scene. So for example, you can have more than one. So if I duplicate, let's select this one here. You can have different timings. Let's increase here for 20. So we have the first one here, and let me change the timing for the second one. Let's select this flame here. For this one, let's choose another sequence. Okay, let's reset. So turn it off. Now let's start later. So this one here, let's start at let's say frame 8. Turn it on. Go to the next frame 9, turn it off. So this is the way it works. I'm using the second one here. I turn it on, so it starts it off on 0. Now we go with frame 8, turn it on, and on frame 9 turn it off. So you can start at any frame. Let's render it and see how it looks. Okay, let's see the result. And remember another thing, remember that it will not loop. So once it ends, it stops and will not start again, except if you have another trigger. So let's see the result. This is the sequence. Okay, this one here. So start, you can see here on the left, top left, we have the frame number. Let's take a look. So the first one is what we used before, and the second one is the different trigger that we changed the start. So let's go again. You can see the second one starts on another frame. This first one has this restart here, because remember that we changed it before. It has another trigger, and the second one has a single trigger which starts later in the animation. This is how it works. So you can have multiple people holding different props, and each one starting at a different frame. So you have different times for each one. Okay, so I rendered that sequence for 8 frames, so you can see the result, what it looks like for the example we did before. It took about 4 minutes, and let's see the result. This is what we did before. Okay, it is running at 24 frames per second, this sequence. You can see here the results. This is what you can achieve. You can imagine you can have a battle, multiple figures in the scene. You can do your animation. If you already have some animated figures, you can just attach the smart prop and the flame, and it will follow your figure. Okay, pretty cool. So that's it for today, guys. Have fun rendering. I hope you enjoyed this product. See you next time. Bye bye.